What's up, guys? I'm Josh Pate. That's Steve Wiltfong. It is the weekly edition of the Wiltfong Recruiting Whip Around. I would exchange pleasantries with you, Steve, but we're too loaded today. So let me start right with the meat. Arch Manning, you've been all over this recruitment for it seems like forever now, and yet we still got quite a ways to go. And you talk to 5 different people, and they want to try and sell you on 5 different teams being the leader here. So let me just ask you, what's the latest on Arch Manning's recruitment?
Well, I think Arch is really just getting started. He took his first real college football visit over the weekend to Clemson. Yes, he's been on Ole Miss's campus. He's played in team 7-on-7s over at LSU. But his visit to Clemson this past weekend was his first time being able to take a legit college visit. Him and his family and his brother camped at Clemson. Arch earned his offer. Clemson had some of the top quarterbacks in the 2023 class in camp already, and Arch Manning's the first one Dabo Swinney and company offered. So that tells you what they thought of the live evaluation of him and just his personality. Clemson, generally the players that they offer scholarships to are guys that they've gotten to know and not only think that they're a fit from a talent standpoint, but a culture standpoint. So Arch Manning checked all those boxes, but he got to be on the field at Memorial Stadium. Of course, the family got to touch Howard's Rock. They broke bread with the coaches and the coaching staff, and Arch got a chance to talk with some players and vibe with them and ask them questions about the program. And I think the returns on Clemson are strong. I think that they think that it's great people within the Clemson program, people that Arch would like to be around in a program that's proven, that has, already shown that they can develop quarterbacks under this coaching staff and put them in position to be very successful on the next level within a program that's very successful on the college level. I think Arch wants to go somewhere where he's going to get developed and where he's going to win and where he's going to be around guys he's comfortable with. And I think that Clemson checks all those boxes. But look, man, this was his first visit. And he knows that things are going to be first class everywhere he goes. And they're expecting a first class visit at Texas this weekend. They're also going to swing by SMU when they're out there, because I think the family just wants Arch to see as much as possible so he can make the most informed decision as possible. So seeing schools in all kinds of different conferences in all different parts of the country are going to be important. But look, everyone knew Clemson was going to check a lot of boxes with Arch Manning, but there's a lot of other schools that are going to be able to show the Manning family and Arch, hey, this place is a good potential spot for you to achieve everything you're looking to achieve. And that starts with Coach Sarkisian, who coached some great quarterbacks over the course of his career and had some great offenses. Arch has had a relationship with him going back to last year when he was the OC at Alabama. Texas is one of the programs that Arch mentioned first when I went out and visited in the spring. So they're certainly in the thick of it. But he's going to visit Georgia later this month. And Georgia's a program in the conversation to win a championship. He's going to go visit Alabama later this month. Bill O'Brien's their offensive coordinator. He's got a ton of pedigree. Obviously, the Alabama program speaks for itself beyond that. And then he wants to go out to Stanford. He wants to go out to USC. Wants to see Ohio State, Notre Dame, get out east, see North Carolina, Virginia. And so this thing's just getting rolling. I expect him to visit LSU. Ed Orgeron was the Arch Manning was the first prospect that Ed Orgeron went and saw after they won the national championship 2 years ago. So to your first point, that's how long he's been on the radar.
So you see me glancing kind of down, and I don't know if it's right or left, depending on how you're watching, but I'm doing basically what a lot of people were doing on June 6th, Steve. So everyone is caught up in this wave of official and unofficial visits. And you and I were talking on the whip around about when's the wave of commitments going to come? Is it going to be June? We both thought, maybe later in July. And then all of a sudden you look at the phone and you see Walter Nolen tweet out, I'd like to announce I'll be shutting down my recruitment and making a decision. Okay, since then, a lot has transpired. What is the latest on Walter Nolen?
Well, I think Florida made a major move with him on his official visit to campus this weekend. I think he really had a great time hanging out with the players and really believes in that coaching staff. And I do think that coming out of that visit, Florida is in pole position for Walter Nolen. But I think that he's still got some scheduled visits. He's going to Georgia this week. He's taking an official visit to Michigan in 2 weeks. I think he has great interest in Alabama. So you know as well as I do that these recruitments ebb and flow, and I think, talking to his parents after the visit, I think the plan is to take more visits. And so, like I said, they'll be at Georgia this week. They took a visit to Georgia in the spring, self-guided. They did a self-guided tour at Michigan in the spring. They're going back for an official visit. They got family up there in that area. They went to Alabama's spring game. I thought that they had an amazing time at Alabama's spring game, and the family raved about that program. And so Florida, I think they're in good position right now, but we'll see what happens as he continues through the process. But his dad told me that he expects his son to take the visits that they have scheduled.
All right, another name that we're getting a whole lot of in the comment section, so let me bounce it off of you. Shemar Stewart, latest there.
Yeah, so Shemar Stewart has visited Miami a couple times already since the gates have opened up with the NCAA recruiting dead period being lifted in result of the COVID-19 pandemic. He was at Miami's barbecue on the first day. Really had a great time. It was his first time being face-to-face with that Miami staff. And he's connected with those guys, but just seeing so many local players doing well there and thriving, James Williams, Romello Brinson, some of those guys that he knows personally, they're having great experience. I think that speaks to him. And I think that Miami, along with my colleague Andrew Ivins, also believes that Miami has moved into pole position here. Now he's still going to take his visits as well. Took an official visit to LSU. I think Miami is ahead of LSU in the pecking order right now, but you got Georgia in the mix here. You got Clemson in the mix. You got Ohio State in the mix, and you know that those are three programs that can make a move with one visit. But Miami, they're the local program. He's already been there a couple times. I imagine he'll get there a lot. It's a low confidence 24/7 Sports crystal ball pick in Miami right now, but I do think the pulse of that recruitment favors Manny Diaz and company right now.
So I'm looking at the player profile of Bear Alexander here. For those unfamiliar, it's big. He's already made from a size standpoint, 6'3", 325 pounds. He's a defensive lineman out of the Fort Worth area. This time last week, if you and I were talking, Steve, there would have been a G next to his name because he was verbally committed to Georgia. Since then, he's decommitted. And so a lot of Aggie fans want to know, as do I, what are the odds that maybe Texas A&M or another in-state program out there even slips in for Bear Alexander?
Man, so for a coveted target that Texas A&M wants, you can't sleep on them anymore, right? They're looking at their fourth straight top 10 class. They're sitting at number 9 now. They've been in the top 5 before. They have a chance to get in the top 5 again. I think that they're in the mix for Bear Alexander, and this could be another special defensive line class for them as they continue to stack at that position. Hit on some big-time guys last year, Shamar, Tanmizi, to name a few off the top of my head. And then you turn around in this class, and if you can get Bear Alexander, if you can land Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, who might be one of the surest things in this class, the most athletic defensive lineman in the country. A&M's battling Oklahoma and Clemson, among others, for him. But if you can land him, and they had another potential freak on campus this past weekend, and Anthony Lucas, who's 6'4", 6'5", almost 300 pounds, massive hands, explosive on tape. I think A&M made a move with Anthony Lucas this weekend as they battle Notre Dame and Florida State, Oregon, maybe Arizona State, to name a few others. Texas A&M, they know what it takes to win in the SEC. I think Jimbo Fisher has the right recipe here, and we have no chance to win big if you're not stout on defense. This was the number 1 defense in the SEC last year, and they're in on guys to keep A&M near the top on that side of the ball for years to come.
So this past weekend, before we start looking forward in future whip arounds, Ohio State has a huge weekend. Oregon has a huge weekend. So give me the latest snapshot where the Ducks and the Bucks, could be a podcast in the future, where the Ducks.
Yeah, so Ohio State moved to number 1 in the 24/7 Sports recruiting rankings. Bear Alexander's decommitment from Georgia. But the Buckeyes got good news from 4-star receiver Caleb Brown, the number 6 overall player in the country at the position. He committed to Ohio State during a visit yesterday on the heels of a big official visit weekend that saw 24/7 Sports crystal balls fly in for the number 4 safety in the country, Zion Branch. Ohio State's in good position for the number 1 safety in the top 247, Xavier Nwankpa. I think that they have a lot of momentum with the offensive linemen that were on campus. 5-star Zach Rice and his mom loved it. Emil Wagner, the top offensive lineman in the state, had a terrific experience as well. So Ohio State getting their commits on campus for the first time. Quinn Ewers, he had been there for camp before, but coming in on his official visit, number one player in the country. He loved it. Caleb Burton, the 5-star receiver, said he's not taking any more officials. He shut it down. So the early returns on the Ohio State visit weekend are strong. Amari Abar, the 5-star defensive end from Texas. I think the Buckeyes are going to be on the short list for him. And then out in Oregon, a new crystal ball pick for 4-star linebacker Robbie Snelling out of Nevada. I think that Oregon has set the bar for him. The Ducks did land a commitment from a defensive lineman, Sir Mells, also out of Nevada. They beat their rival Washington for him. Oregon's got the number one class in the Pac-12. If they finish that way, it'll be the 4th straight year that they've done that. But they're sitting at number 21 or something right now. Mario wants to be in that top 10, which he's been in 2 of the last 3 years. So they took some swings at some other blue chippers. Terrence Brooks, one of the top cornerbacks in Texas. One source thinks that that's Oregon and Alabama for Terrence Brooks. Cyrus Moss is a coveted edge guy from Nevada who was seen a lot with Kayvon Thibodeau. Oregon is the favorite on the crystal ball for him. If they could land him, that would be huge for the trajectory of this class as well.
Loaded whip around, as always. If you need even more, keep it locked on 247sports.com. That's where you can get all the latest. We'll be back here next week. Until then, Steve, have a great week, sir.
Take care, y'all.